Well, the much-anticipated confirmation hearings for Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett began today. The heavily divided Senate continues to push ahead on President Trump's picks to replace the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And the hot topic from the Democrats during the hearing was, well, you got it, Obamacare, because there's really nothing else to attack Amy Coney Barrett on. To discuss, let's bring in the Vice President for Institute of Constitutional Government at the Heritage Foundation, John Malcolm. John, welcome to the show. Good to have you.
Great to be here.
Well, you know, it's really interesting. We saw Joe Biden bring this up during the presidential debates, that there's really nothing that he can really hit her on. I want to play a sound from that just a second.
I have nothing. I'm not opposed to the justices. She seems like a very fine person. But she's written before she went on the bench, which is her right, that she thinks that the Affordable Care Act is not constitutional.
Even Forbes came out with an article recently that says that Amy Coney Barrett is no Brett Kavanaugh. And this is a problem for the Democrats, John. You know, she touts herself as an originalist. One, can you help us understand what that means and why this is really becoming an issue for the Democrats? Because there's really nothing to hit her on.
Sure. Well, they can't hit her because she has impeccable credentials. So an originalist is somebody who looks at the words and phrases in the Constitution and interprets them based on how those words and phrases were understood at the time that that constitutional provision was ratified. And then the companion to that is a textualist. It's somebody who looks at statutes and reads, interprets the statutes based on the plain wording of the statute and how those words were understood at the time that particular law was passed. They don't try to read their personal views into the words and phrases of the Constitution or statutes. They don't try to interpret the law in a way in which they would like it, rather than how it was understood at the time that the statute was passed or the constitutional provision was ratified. And I think that that is an important limiting principle in terms of a judge ruling based on the rule of law and not based on their personal or political preferences.
You've seen a lot of people on the left going crazy over this and going so far as to ask this woman to take herself out of the running for this thing, to recuse herself. Here's Dick Blumenthal talking about this just a couple days ago.
Let me be very blunt. In any case involving Donald Trump's election, would immediately do explosive, enduring harm to the court's legitimacy and to your own credibility. You must recuse yourself.
Yeah, look, there's nothing that she has said. Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Well, there's nothing that she has said or done in any of these cases, and certainly if there is an election fight, that would warrant a recusal. So, I mean, when I was watching the Democrats today, I thought I had turned into the wrong hearing. I thought I was hearing about the merits and demerits of Obama care. Yes, she wrote a law review article in which she criticized the Chief Justice for saying that something had been labeled a penalty was really a tax. President Obama afterwards said, no, it wasn't a tax, it was a penalty. And all she did was say that she didn't think that Chief Justice Roberts' opinion in the first Obamacare case was very persuasive. It has been criticized by lots of people. There is a new case before the court raising completely different legal issues, and there is no reason whatsoever to suspect that she has either prejudged the case or that she would need to recuse herself in any matter that would come before the court.
Yeah, it's just kind of silly, John. Even Chuck Schumer came out this week and asked that Amy Coney Barrett recuse herself from this health care case, which is on November 10th. Just pressing the question on you, what if she said, would it be wise for her at all to say, if Trump doesn't win, then I will recuse myself, but if he wins, I won't recuse myself? Would there be any wisdom in that, or is that absolutely absurd and she should just press forward? If she gets nominated, she's nominated?
Once political parties or politicians start pressuring judges to recuse themselves because of that, they suspect that they are going to come out, a way that will not be pleasing to that politician, then we have embarked down a very, very dangerous road. A judge or justice should recuse him or herself when, there is a real strong objective basis to question whether or not they can be impartial. And that standard has certainly not been met here in either an election law dispute or an Obamacare case or any other case on which a Justice Barrett would sit in judgment.
And just to clarify, that soundbite we played from Dick Blumenthal was from today, and you also heard, Amy Klobuchar Mazziarono from Hawaii, everybody going crazy over this thing. I want to talk about what the strategy is from the right. They gave some pretty passionate speeches today as well. What do you make of their position and the strategy?
Well, one, they're anticipating that she might be attacked for her faith. She certainly was attacked for her faith during her 2017 confirmation hearing. And also what they're sitting there and saying is, look, 22 presidents have 29 times nominated a justice during an election year. There was nothing that out of the ordinary about all of this. You've had plenty of opportunity to consider the merits of this nominee. And by the way, her credentials are impeccable. There is no reason not to proceed with considering and confirming Judge Barrett to become Justice Barrett.
You know, John, we have seen a few senators taking this hearing remotely, Kamala Harris being one of those, claiming that the protocols today and her comments for safety and health were not up to spec. Is this just a spectacle from her? Is she being negligent from what she should be doing, being in this hearing, being one of the committee members? Because she's on the campaign trail in these last 3 weeks. What is her role here, and what should it be?
Well, she is a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee. She can participate or not participate as she sees fit. The fact of the matter is that since this pandemic began, courts around the country have been having virtual hearings, and the Senate Judiciary Committee itself has had lots of virtual hearings. They heard last week from former FBI Director Jim Comey, who testified remotely, and they've had lots of other hearings in which one or more senators have participated just the same way that Tom Tillis, Pat Leahy, and Kamala Harris did today.
What do you think is going to be the process for the rest of this week? We only have about a minute left. Are you feeling this is going to be a success, or do you think we're going to run into some issues?
No, look, she's going to be questionings of the nominee the next 2 days. The Democrats are going to try to get her to commit to either recuse herself or to commit to one side or another about issues that might come before the court. She will resist that. And I predict at the end of the day, then on Thursday, there will be hearing from people pro and con in favor of and against confirmation. And I predict at the end of the day, she will be confirmed because she deserves to be confirmed.
All right, John. So great to have you. Thanks for being here.
Good to be with you.